Well, that was fun.
You called it.
That was fun. Yeah. I was like, we can win 45-0 or drop 70 on them. And I called the shutout. We almost dropped 70, but I called the shutout. So that was a beautiful performance in every way. And we left 14 points on the board.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I mean, outside of those 2 drives, I thought, it was pretty much exactly how a damn good team operates.
We're going to dive into your comments here in just a second. Thank you, everybody, tuning in here. If you want to drop a like, we are celebrating a 68-0 win over 700 yards of offense, in which I'm pretty sure every quarterback on the depth chart touched the field. We saw 2 on the last play.
Yep.
3. Brody's.
There's Bodie Sokup and Marcos Davia.
Yep. Both on the play for the last game, so they just want to make sure everybody gets a snap.
They ran him out there too. Like, they scrambled it.
I love that. But I mean, we'll talk a little bit of some of the concepts that we saw in the first half. We'll talk offensively, defensively, stuff like that. And then we'll go through a little bit of the other games throughout the college football world today. But biggest thing here is Nebraska came out early, and early on that drive came out with your typical, your out routes, your hitches. Started to establish that run game, and then you saw in the second drive, third drive, how or into that second quarter, sorry, how that set up, those drives down the field to start layering the wide receiver routes a little bit more and take advantage of that zone coverage heavy scheme that Akron likes to run. You saw a ton of crossers, especially play action crossers, all over the place to really mix. I mean, their eyes were lost in every facet. The linebackers had no idea what they were doing on Akron's side of the ball. They had no idea where to be. And I mean, it was easy. It was just sit back, wait for the route to come open, wait for them to make a mistake, wait for them to lose their position. And if the time was there for the play to be made, it was. And some incredible throws by Dylan today. Sorry about that. Good protection overall. Defense. I think one of the biggest things that I talked about in week 1 that carried over that was in my mind in week 2 here is the defense. And I said this after the postgame week 1, the defense's short memory is really, really standing out to me this season versus last season. Have you noticed that? If there's a mistake they make, if there's a play, and I put this in my notes, if there's a play where they have something go wrong, whether it be a penalty or anything like that, they're right back on it the next play. And there's no, feeling sorry for ourselves. It's like, we're back up and I got to do my job in this next play. There's no dwelling on it.
Yep. It's like what Coach Bush calls like the palms up mentality, like, oh, woe is me or whatever. It is very, very good that they're able to just move on really quickly. Perfect example was last week, Hartzog on the PI and then gets the game-winning pick. You saw that tonight even where they called him for a crappy penalty. I didn't think it was, but the next play they came right back.
100%. And I don't even know where to begin with the superlatives to describe this game, but I think one of the biggest things that we wanted to see, and I tweeted this out at halftime, that this domination felt different than previous years, regardless of opponent. And that played out in terms of what the final stats of the game. But whenever I came around and said that, somebody, I think the Go Big Redcast, shout out to them. They had tweeted, and I get it. It's Akron. So like they were just kind of downplaying just a little bit. And I was just like, we just haven't had this type of domination where everything just comes easy. And I think that's the difference. The eye test does matter in this instance. And, the routes were open. There was multiple routes open on each play, dang near. The runs, the gaps that were opening,
drive a bus through.
It was unbelievable. And just some of the individual plays that some of the guys were making all the way down the depth chart. You have guys breaking tackles left and right.
That was a big thing that I noticed was with Mosey. Even though it's Akron, even though it's garbage time,
circles in place at one point. Right there.
He just doesn't go down, man. He's just always looking for yardage. He's always looking to make a move. He never goes to the ground, even on that punt return. that's effort, and that's hard to do in a blowout game when you know like you're only in there because we're beating this team by 68 points.
100%.
But you still have to have that mentality, and that was really impressive. And it wasn't just him; it was other people too.
Now, going into my key or what I thought we could take away from this game, one of the biggest things that I said was it's going to matter how it looks across the depth chart. You know, how big is the drop off from the first to the second string, from the second to the third string? And that was my way of determining, like, this is something we could see. What is the depth that we got in here? And boy, did we get a taste of that. And it didn't miss a beat. I mean, they played with the same tenacity and fire on defense. And I don't know about you, but this defense plays with a different level of attitude. An aggression, I feel like, this season consistently. I feel like last season they would ramp it up, but then when it wasn't there, it was not there. I feel like now they can crank it up. You know, they have guys out there. Again, I think it's that short memory. They can crank it back up and, like, you know, reset. We got another play to win, you know, and it's rep by rep.
Yeah, that was one thing that stood out to me quite a bit. Was at one point, I mean, Nebraska was playing their depth very early in the game, but even at the end of the game, Akron still had their starters in. Nebraska was on their second and third team O-line. They were down to their fourth string running back, and they opened up that hole for Quentin that you could drive a Mack truck through. And that was Sam Sledge and Jason Machachuk going against the starting defensive line for Akron. And then on the opposite side, too, TJ Lateef came in. I'm sorry, not TJ Lateef. I'm thinking offense. Defensively, they still had their starter in Finley, and he was struggling to find receivers. The offensive line was struggling to block, you know, the Gabe Moores, the Cade Peitzaks, where he just dominated tonight, especially in that first half. The depth was phenomenal across the board. Cade Peitzak?
Pete Jack?
Whatever you say, however you say it.
No, that was what the announcer kept calling him. Cade Pete.
Oh, is that what he said? I wasn't listening to the announcers very much.
He kept calling him Cade Pete Jack.
It's spelled weird, but I think it's Peitzak.
I think it's Petrzak. I could
whatever
be
it is
completely wrong, but I've always said Petrzak. But it's not Pete Jack. I know that much. That was a given. I'm gonna dive into some of the comments here before we dive into this a little bit more. Bone Leg Cornfed, first one in here is always Go Big Red. Appreciate you hopping in here. This is what it was like to be alive in the 90s. I was alive in the 90s, but don't remember much.
That's what my uncle texted me. Said this feels like the 90s.
I mean, tied the largest win in Memorial Stadium history. It has to feel like whatever point that was in the 90s. So
it was probably Pacific when Nebraska won, I think 72-3.
Shout out to Archie Wilson's parents coming out to the only the fifth time in Memorial Stadium history that Nebraska doesn't punt to.
Yeah, I know, right? I felt so bad.
Love the special teams tonight, especially not even seeing the punter yet. The way the return, you saw me tweet about, I don't know if you saw me tweet about that punt return, but the way that one punt return set up where you saw all the blocking develop on the field, like that was the thing of beauty. It was so pretty to watch that happen.
There was, and I noted it, and you know, I can't wait till I have my computer so I can like write notes down or type them down. But they did this really cool thing, and they ended up having to delay a game, I think, on the punt. But Nebraska had everybody at the line except for the gunners. Yeah. And then I noticed right before the snap, they had three guys bail out to go block for the returner. But it looks like a normal punt formation, and they had three guys bail out. And I thought that was really interesting. In every punt, which there was a lot of them, every scheme that Coach Eckler had was different on every single punt. It wasn't like what you see even last year with Coach Reed.
And then we hopped in there. We got a field goal block there at a big time to maintain the shutout. That's big. You know, they really want to score there. And, you know, I think I did a really good job of keeping Nebraska with the momentum. Naturally, I mean, if they gain on momentum, it's not a comeback, but give them a little momentum of a score. You know, who knows if they start moving the ball a little bit from there, but just really good to shut the door completely, even though the game was put away. And I think that's the difference, is the tenacity of how the team plays when the game's in the bag. Do they keep that intensity high? And that's what great teams do. They keep that intensity high. So we haven't done in years past again. So
that was my exact thought process with that blocked field goal, was the fact that they're out there giving maximum effort when they're up. At that point, it was 33-0.
They can just concede the three and call it a day.
Yeah. They're like, we're up 30. We're going to win anyways.
That's not the identity of this team.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
TJ's looking dang good. That is a
Yeah.
understatement. TJ,
Dude, that freaking hezzy crossover, freaking whatever the hell that was a basketball move on a football field.
He is shifty. He is shifty, and he has an arm, and he has some touch on his passes. And I think the biggest thing is just look how composed he looked. You know, look how look how in command and in control of that offense he was from the second he stepped on the field. There wasn't, okay, let me come out and get a 3 and out and then ease my way into this.
Yeah. Or you'll see them come out like with a new QB. Let's get them in rhythm. Let's just do a little bubble screen, or we'll do, some type of screen like that. His first pass was not complicated. It was like a 5-7 yard out route, but it was in timing. It was at the break, the ball was coming out, and that's what was important on that throw.
Well, here's what I feel like Dana Holgorsen did a really, really good job of is attacking, like I said, layering the attack and attacking at different levels at different points in the game. So they never knew where it was coming. As soon as we would get the run game going, as soon as we would draw those linebackers down with that play action, it was basically Dylan Rhule had him in the palm of his hands. Even when they were only rushing 4 and dropping the rest of the team back in the coverage, he still hit dang key on that route across the field, that crossing route to the sideline. And I mean, they only rushed 4 there. Everybody else dropped back into coverage, but the play action made them take a step up, and the linebackers were trying to step up to fill those gaps. And you saw crossing routes the whole game. It was just he early on he would pick on kind of the linebackers' eyes. You saw it in that one little pass out to Emmett Johnson, and what he did in that was he brought first off the inside handoff, got the those linebackers to step down and cheat that middle gap anyways for the run. But then you had Harburg as a secondary option coming across the face of that outside linebacker. So that way, just in case he didn't bite on that, there's a potential pick play there, quote unquote pick play, and or it's just something else to get his eyes distracted. And that was the trick today. It was just movement, getting their eyes lost, and then layering that attack. And then that's kind of, so a little bit of the time he was doing the underneath behind the and stressing the linebackers. And then a little bit later in the, with the post cross and the Yankee kind of concepts with the play action, he was, stressing out the deep safety. Some of the floods, with kind of crossers coming back the other direction, he was stressing the sideline flat defenders, the curl flat players, when they're running cover 3, the overhang players in cover 2. And it creates kind of like, in a lot of the floods that they ran, created that kind of 3-man, overload concept to one side of the field. You get a couple routes coming back across. It tests the discipline in the eyes of the defense. And how many times, on that Lindenmeyer play right there, we saw it there. It's just levels and attacking at different stress points. But they stretch them horizontally, vertically. They had quarterback specific reads. He was able to come up and check some plays sometimes. Against man, this concept works because it's like rub routes. It's going to, you gotta, if you pick them at the point of attack, it's gonna work against man, and against zone, it's gonna stress the eyes, and you're flooding zones with so many threats, and you're trying to just overload their zone with numbers and outnumber them.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the play calling tonight. It just, it's one thing I noticed really the last probably like 2 games with Dana. Obviously last 2 games of this last year, then the first 2 games of this year, is he will, when he finds something that is a weakness in the defense, he keeps going to it. 100%. And it was the dagger routes. It was the wheel routes, or whatever they call them, the rocket route. With the running backs out of the backfield, and he just keeps going to them. And it's not like every series, but it is like, I need a play. This has been working all game. I'm going to call the dagger route, or I'm going to call the wheel route, because it's worked every single time. And he's like, you're not stopping it. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, and especially in that one touchdown to the back of the end zone with Dan Key, that formation, that was all set up by the runs previously, because you had Harburg motioning across, and then once he got to the right side of the formation, he cuts it back across. They fake that inside handoff, and they showed that same motion that they showed on run plays earlier in the game that worked. And so the motion man was inserted as a blocker kind of on the inside zones. And Akron's defense was just kind of in a position to where they were just immediately triggering downhill, especially, kind of second down in that red zone, second and short. I think it was 2nd and 1 when we ran that play. And then so QB, with the QB selling like on that inside give, on the inside handoff, and then the O-line kind of firing off like runs, the linebackers are looking right at it. They all trigger downhill. The safeties try to fit. They step into the gaps immediately, and then just because they're trying to read the tendencies, and then the route concepts, the motion wide receivers like slips into a crossing route, but he's come across the back of the end zone. The thing about it too is Danke was covered really well in that route. They covered it really well, but it was able to just create enough of a window for Dillon to put a perfect throw in there, and I mean that was still defended about as well as you could have.
Yeah.
But there was a moment where you saw him cutting across when Danke made that initial break where he got him by just a half a step, and that was enough to win that route. And that was that little hesitation. That's all it took.
There's another throw that they had to Danke. I think it was that on the first drive of the second half that we had where he lofted it over the corner and under the safety. Now Danke did have plenty of room, but it's being able to do that at such an early stage in his career. We saw it last year against UTEP. He did it again consistently. There was a few throws that Dillon had too where he was really threading the needle. And I see the people complain online like they want to see him fired in there, put some zip on the ball. But he has such a high level of accuracy and placement that he doesn't need to have that.
Quarterbacks are like pitchers. They gotta throw whatever fits.
I'm still here just a second.
Oh, okay. You're frozen. Haven't seen the Huskers in type of this game. I don't remember how long exactly. Yeah. I see you now. You want to finish your thought?
Oh no, you're fine.
All right. This is how things were in the Osborne years. Go Big Red.
My dad.
That was amazing. Oh, gotcha.
I don't know why he's calling me if he's watching.
That was amazing. Didn't want it to end. I kind of didn't either. Criminy, we ain't seen that in a while. When was the last shutout? 2012, right? No.
It's been a long time.
No, when was our last shutout? I think 2012 was the last time. Let me see, because I got some list of here. And let me just read through some of these numbers that Nebraska was able to beat. So the Huskers are the 19th Big Ten team since 1995 to have over 700 yards in a game.
Jeez.
19th since 1995 to have over 700 yards. That's pretty impressive right there. I don't know how many times they said we had 700 yards.
I can't think of many. The last one I can think of is 2007 Joe Gans against Kansas.
Man, because I think when they said we were at 600 something, they said that only happened 11 times in history. So when they got to 700, that had to have. I got to look into that. Barney had as many catches as Akron's starter had completions.
Yeah, Barney had a great game. I just wish he could stay on his feet.
I know. Danke's jersey, by the way, I should have took a picture of it, but you could see the stretched jersey right here.
Yes,
how much
it looked like it was too big of a jersey.
He was getting grabbed so much in this game. I don't understand. He was getting grabbed so much, and nothing was getting called.
His impact, well,
it's insane.
It's like you look at his stat line, you go 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Didn't make a huge impact, but look at Ja'Cory Barney. Look at Isaiah Hunter. Luke Lindenmeyer. I mean, those guys probably had 15 catches between them, if not more, and over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns out of it.
He opens the offense up, opens those guys up so much. It's incredible. Yeah. Yeah. It's just Akron, but we haven't seen our lads maintain focus, execute their schemes like this in a long time. 100%.
Think amazing back game. To UTEP last year.
Yeah. Yep. Amazing game and great. Well, UTEP, it was 40-0. They were under a first-year head coach. Yeah. Terrible team. I think they had one game the year prior, or 1 win the year prior. Yeah. And we did not feel great coming out of that game. And that's why at halftime, it was 33-0, but it felt completely different than the entire first half of that UTEP game. Because again, we weren't putting drives like that together in that UTEP game. We weren't nothing. It wasn't coming as easy. We were actually surprised coming out of week 1 and 2 how Northern Iowa we put up 38. On Northern Iowa, and we did not feel good about the offense coming out of that game. I remember we didn't. And we couldn't score in the second half. So yeah, it's amazing. Like the video, and you know what? I get to eat crow because I said if Nebraska does. The one thing that I want to see from this game is Nebraska make mistakes, keep them out of the end zone. and they did. And I said, if that happened, it's going to be hard for me to be happy about it. I just didn't expect that. I didn't expect this.
Yeah, I think I texted you at one point, we were 0 of 2 in the red zone with 2 turnovers, we were 1 of 3 in the red zone, 2 turnovers and a field goal. And I was like, that's a huge concern for me, but they corrected it because they scored on every red zone trip afterwards.
True. This from Husker Wave. Mark Gronowski, passing yards through 2 games, 127. Nebraska's backup QB in one half, 128. We'll dive into Iowa here in just a little bit. We'll get into Gronowski. Don't worry. Both things can be true. Akron was really, really bad. We dominated away. Nobody expected really 68-0. 68-0's good on anybody. I don't care who you play.
Yeah.
This game was so good. Luke Lindenmeyer just proposed to his girlfriend. Did he really?
Well, let's freaking go, Luke.
If he did, shout out to him. This turned into a Luke Lindenmeyer celebration. Do y'all remember the Mayor McCheese merry-go-rounds at McDonald's? That is what I thought of when Dilly threw that spin move. I thought of DeAndre Hopkins against the Dallas Cowboys back in like 2016, where he just spun for like 12 extra yards to get in field goal range. He just spun, and then fell down.
That play is going to be there a lot this year too, because they're going to call it once or twice a game, and he's going to keep it. It's going to be wide open every time.
If I do have one complaint about what happened in this game that kept us out of the end zone, and on that one drive where we got stopped on 4th, I mean, we got to run with our pad level lower. I know they talked about it on the QB sneak, but Ives in the play prior, like I talked about this so much with Dowdle last year about how much I hate hurdling at the goal line.
Yes.
Because as soon as you hurdle, as soon as your pad level gets high, they can just take your legs out and you lose all your leverage, you lose all your drive, and you are just dead to rights. As soon as they stop you when you leave the ground, you are toast. As soon as you give up your lower center of gravity, they get lower on you, they take your legs out, you're not going anywhere. I'm sorry, we were too far away to be hurdling there. Just got to get our pad levels lower on those runs and not let them take our legs out. We just got to be able to push through.
Another thing too, you mentioned being too far away to hurdle, but the offensive line, like typically when you see them jump over the line's shooting low.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that on that play. They were not high, but they weren't shooting at the legs to take out the defensive line.
It was almost like he got caught mid-hurdle on his leg, and that caused him to fall short.
I don't know who's teaching them this. It needs to stop. Just power that ball in.
Yeah, I think going forward, hopefully that'll be the case. But yeah, got to get the pad level lower. Just got to, low man usually wins. And the tush push, what makes that so good is like the commentator said in there, he's really good that the center is able to create a little cushion for him, and he finds that crease. Hurts just finds that crease in there, and they try to do kind of something like a little kind of tush push there. But again, just didn't get the drive and didn't get that crease, and Harburg went high. So, but that's something they'll work on. Again, that's minimal, but just one. If I had one little critique there, overall, let's see. Let me look. No StreamYard. Good stuff, Caleb. Do you want to link Boneled? Is Boneled trying to call in? Our defensive secondary, a bunch of beasts. Our coverage is so sticky this year. We haven't had clamps like this in a long time, and I think defensive backs have the toughest job in football because they're so underappreciated when they have a great game. Because a lot of the work they put in doesn't get seen on the broadcast. But being able to, be in man coverage that tight in certain situations when the quarterback was able to roll the pocket, move the pocket, the fact that we came out of there, we're not grabbing, we're covering properly. We're covering with technique. We're not covering by grabbing. We're not getting out athleted and trying to, it's like we're able to line up mano a mano and our guys are able to stick. And that's going to allow us to do have a lot more flexibility this year in having some guys free and loose to be able to use them in stunts and other things.
And I think they're playing well, especially in a game like tonight where it's being officiated differently when you're on the field versus when Akron was on the field. And I'm usually not one to harp on officiating too much if it's consistent.
Yeah.
But it was not consistent. I mean, Dinky got tackled twice with no penalty.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm barely touched a guy, got a holding. And then Andrew Marshall barely touched the other guy and got a PI. Like the way they were reffing the two teams, especially the DBs, was totally different.
Yeah, it wasn't consistent. Peter Zach is how it's pronounced. Sure ain't Pete Chuck. Yeah, it's not Pete Jack. So the guy kept saying. Petrazek. Yeah, that's what I said. I think I was the only one that got it right. Let's go. Shout out to me. Because I never pronounce things right. I'm from Texas. We don't pronounce anything right. Congrats, Husker fans. Appreciate it, David. Appreciate you hopping in here, man. Let's see. I love Dana Holgerson. That man wants to score all the points he does. And I think I said last week, I was like, I don't think we care about not running up the score. Like, style points matter. And I think after last week, especially, I was like, we're going to go out there. We're going to score a bunch of points if it's there.
You know what the best part of Dana tonight was? That when they caught him itching his junk and then he pops a freaking Zin into his lip, and I was like, God, that dude is just a guy's guy.
Aura farming.
Mid-game popping into the Zin.
I hate that word, aura, so I only said that. Don't leave the stream because I said that, please. I hate it too. No punts. How silly is that? 5th time in Memorial Stadium history, I think they said. I love Dana rocking the Carlin. The Big Ten has to worry about Oregon, Ohio State. They both like the real. I'm not worried about anybody right now. I'm just enjoying this. We will look a little forward, but I'm not looking forward to Ohio State because they're not even on our schedule. Oregon is not either, so I don't have to worry about any of them.
Yeah,
but they are very good. I've been consistent that Ohio State should have been number 1 since the preseason. I picked them to win the national championship when the season started last year. I picked them to win the national championship all the way through the season last year. You're preaching to the choir on the Ohio State one there. Akron was gassed. You could tell that is 100% part of the plan. We kept that stuff underneath short, ran them, and then started running them across the field into green grass, into spaces, and making them chase us all around the field, even on the motions. People neglect to include this in a lot of the discussions, but a lot of the motions that we do, I mean, you're running that defender back and forth across the field, and they're having chase a guy, So, in a lot of cases too, I mean, Akron doesn't run a ton of man, but those concepts also make those guys have to move. But the biggest thing that I want to point out, and when I was talking about that Harburg play where that outside linebacker kind of missed his read and bit on the run instead of going out on that flat route, where Emmett was wide open. So there was a late substitution. So Nebraska came out their formation late. It was a late substitution. So they're communicating as they're getting on the field. Nebraska then brings 2 guys to the opposite side of the formation. So they're trying to flip across, communicate, and Nebraska snaps the ball. So it's also a lot of trying to confuse them and get them, late in their communication. They communicated late, and then Emmett Johnson was wide open on the swing pass for the touchdown. So it's like causing havoc in their minds and causing havoc on that defensive side of the ball in any way you can, and they used every avenue for that.
Yeah, they I really liked what they've been doing with the 21 personnel, and they have the tight end starting on the left, moving to the right, or vice versa. The thing here now is, what are they going to do off of that? Because I think at some point they're going to, because they've been running off of that a lot, or they'll do the swing pass. But I think you can do a lot of good things with the tight ends off of that too. I'm curious as the season progresses, or Michigan coming into town in a couple weeks, they're going to see that constantly on film, the moving of the tight ends.
Are you talking about more like a H-back role?
Yeah.
Where he's kind of detached from the line of scrimmage, more of like an H-back, where he's kind of occasionally pulling across for routes, and occasionally similar to the way Illinois used 85 against us last year.
Yes. And the one I think of is Harburg had a really great block on that Emmett Johnson 47-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
You could have him same type of play, but instead of blocking as he approaches that guy, slips upfield or goes into the flat route, you fake the handoff, and it's going to be open, I feel like, at some point.
100%. Oh, we got a super chat here. $20, man. David, thank you so much for $20. We don't have our gift loaded in here. How could we? This is for my Husker fan, Peggy Goodwin Evans, who is a cancer survivor. Oh, man. Shout out to Peggy, man.
Shout out, Peggy.
Yeah. Pit Snipe here. Stay strong, Peggy, man. David, thank you so much. And wishing the best for Peggy, man. And now I feel like I need to donate this to like some kind of cancer or something. So, but shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the $20. Even so much as a view, a like helps us out, but we really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. And shout out to Peggy, man. This wins for Peggy, So All right. Let's go. Do you want to dive a little bit into across the Big Ten conference real quick?
Yeah, Michigan just got beat by Oklahoma.
I saw that was occurring, and it seems like Michigan is not happy with the play call. Michigan fans are not happy with the play calling at all.
They, from what I've seen online, which I have some on there from Michigan because I follow TJ.
I actually asked TJ his synopsis, and he said the O-line isn't good enough. The D-line can't get pressure without blitzing. Underwood looked young. Our OC called a piss-poor game, and Sharon Moore is questionable. Not good enough at the end of the day.
Yeah. I didn't see the final stat line. I saw Michigan right as we were going live. I had the Michigan game on, so I was kind of hopping back and forth with my eyes. And I saw his stat line was like 8 of like 21 or something like that for 100 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the few plays I saw, the dude looked totally lost. Firing the ball with no touch, like he was just trying to get rid of it as soon as he could. I mean, there was throws where there was nobody within 10 yards. I didn't watch the whole game because they played at the same time, but I mean, other than that one 75-yard touchdown run, they had no offense tonight, basically.
However, I'm not counting my chickens for the hatch just because.
Oh, absolutely not.
Just because Bryce Underwood is going to be similar to Rhule last year, where he can have his moments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it seems like he's very much in a situation that Rhule was in last year with the play calling. Unfortunately for them, their defensive line, their offensive line is not good as well. So she's really not conducive of a successful young quarterback with what they have there.
Speaking of defensive line, that was my one concern still after this game. You get no pass rush against Akron, and that's my one red flag coming out of tonight's game is there's no pass rush right now.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
We had 9 pressures last week. It was hard to get the sacks, of course, because of you're trying to contain Soares to be more than tackle him. But we got our sack late in the game, this one, right?
Yeah, it was Ashton Murphy with like 4 minutes left in the game.
I will like to see Akron's overall time to pass and see how quickly, because that with the RPOs, they were occasionally getting the ball out of his hands quickly. And so I'd be curious to see his time to throw and see if that impacted it at all.
Yeah, I think his percentage is low. I mean, he was probably like 8 of 30.
Oh yeah, it was
10 of 30. But his receivers were dog water. I mean, they're terrible. They had probably 8 drops tonight.
Yes. Let's see. Okie State, WTF. I think my boy is about done there. Akron was guest. Let's see. Did Brian shave his faux beard or something? He looks 12. Bro, Pittsnight, where were you last time when I made fun of him for not having his beard?
This was Tuesday night. We discussed this.
Bro, Thursday. We started early though, so we didn't have as big of a crowd. Cousin Eric wants to talk to you. Who? Me?
That's my cousin Eric.
Oh, I was about to say I have a cousin Eric too, but my last name ain't Morris, so it has to be you.
Yeah.
Interior defensive line, specifically the middle 2, scare me a ton. Akron was bad, but still gashed it quite a few times. Their secondary was doing linebacker jobs. Let's go. Hold on. Just give me a second. I want to go check out a stat real quick. And the stat is going to be the total rushing per rush. I'm curious to see that. So they had 3 yards per play. I'm trying to look at yards per rush. It's crazy to beat a team 68-0 and you win time possession by under a minute.
Well, when you're averaging, I think our yards per play had to have been 9, 10?
It was 10. It was 9 at halftime. It went up in the second half. It was 9.0 at halftime. It went up in the second half.
I mean, it was crazy. What was Dylan's final stat line? I mean, he had like 350 yards on 24 completions.
364, 24 for 31, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns. TJ Lateef, 6 for 7, 128 yards. And Jalen Gramstead, 2 for 2 with 2 yards.
Well,
for what it's worth, Emmett averaged 10 yards a carry. Quentin Ives, 8.5. Lateef, 8.5. Kenneth Williams, good little run there. 15-yard run, scamper for him. Makai Nelson, 5 carries for 11 yards. Connor Booth, 2 for 6. and then Heinrich got that 1 carry. On the sneak, receiving wise, Ja'Cory Barney, 7 receptions for 132 yards, 18.9 yards per catch. And Isaiah Hunter, 4 receptions for 82 yards, 20.5 average. Mosey, 3 receptions for 65. Mekhi Nelson, 3 for 52. Lindenmeyer, 3 for 44. Quinn Clark, 1 for 37. Dane Key, 3 for 35. Like the 1,
We
2,
talk about
3,
Quinn
4,
Clark.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players caught a pass.
Wow.
14. That's insane.
That Quinn Clark touchdown was phenomenal. The timing, the accuracy, and keep in mind, Quinn Clark is 6'5", 215.
See how athletic he looked? Just like running.
In stride, hurdles a defender, and that's why, like when he scored that touchdown, I posted because I think he did long jump, he did triple jump, and he did high jump in high school. He was a phenomenal track and field athlete. You saw it on display right there.
That's what easy athleticism looks like. It's like when you do something that's just like walking to the normal person and it just looks athletic.
Yeah.
And you just see he's got spring in those legs.
Yeah. I always say you can tell how good an athlete is by how easy they make complicated things look. That was not easy what he did, and it looked natural.
Right. Technically, I did the same thing at CVS the other day. I touched the top of the little things that hang, and they tell you what each aisle is. I was waiting for them to come give me my fireball when I hit the button, and so I was just bored, and I was like, I wonder if I could touch the top of that thing. So insanely athletic on my end too. I rival Quinn Clark in my day. All right. Anyways, fair point, Jordan. I was really able to see one of the backups break through. 09 Arizona in a bowl game, I think. No, that was even that was
33-0.
Even that wasn't to that level though.
That was the game where one of the backups in on the final, 2 or 3 minutes, but the Arizona got in the red zone, and Ndamukong Suh was like, every single starter get back on the field. We're not letting them score.
Yep. That was in boot camp that season, but I was out by that time. Both our PIs were due to our lads losing their footing and just taking their guy down. We could have had a couple of drawn PIs if Dylan brought a couple throws back down to catchable level 2, but is what it is. Splitting hairs. Nebraska did what they were supposed to do in a game like this. Finally, yeah, they did what they want. Yeah, shout out Michaela. Appreciate you hopping in here. Pits Night fist bump Michaela. Question: will Julian Sayin double his production of today next week? Who does Ohio State got next?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, they look sharp today. I like Julian Sayin.
They played Grambling State, right?
They won 70-0. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't sit here and do this. We can't do that. We won 68-0, and we're sitting here. We're like, we can't.
This is what you're supposed to do when you're a good team. You're supposed to dominate for 60 minutes.
Exactly.
Even with your back.
So they averaged 9.9 per play, 651 yards. So they dominated nearly to the level we did, albeit against Grambling, who's not an FCS opponent. But
fighting Mickey Joseph is.
Who did they play next week? Julian Sayin, 18 for 19, 36 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the only incompletion was an interception. I did see that. They got Ohio next week. So,
Ohio just beat West Virginia.
I don't think it gets much better than what Julian Sayin did. So we'll just go out there and say he equals that performance. Let's just do that. I'm very high on Ohio State until they prove anybody otherwise. I don't know why anybody has them outside of the top spot. I don't understand it. Preseason, I don't get it. They won the national championship. Put them at 1 until they lose it.
Yeah, they've proved themselves over the last 15 plus years.
I was never sold on Penn State's athletes. Sorry, go ahead.
I was say they've proved themselves over the last 15 years. So they just reload. Julian Sayin's a redshirt freshman, but what over the last 15 years has told you that's a problem for them? Because they've had elite quarterback after elite quarterback after elite quarterback come in every single year that they have a new one.
I wonder if David is Ohio State fan. But you're true. Yeah, they just reload. That is a team that develops at a high level. Would you freaking roll the damn bill, Bry?
Roll the damn bill? All right. I guess, I am in Texas now, so I got a flat bill.
Lindenmeyer is, in fact, engaged. Bry's had a few. Sorry for noticing. They totally focused on Hogue yanking his pud. Pit Snipe. I don't know what you're saying half the time, bud.
That was when he was adjusting himself and then threw that zin in his lip.
Oh, gotcha.
And then it was like the whole screen was just him doing that.
That is, dude, that was hilarious. That was A+ television. Shout out to Luke Lindemeyer for getting engaged post game. Yes. Great news. Oh yeah, we already saw that. Shout out Peggy again, though. We can't go unnoticed. Shout out to Peggy Goodwin Evans. Appreciate you again, David. 9 TFLs is encouraging. That is 100%. The penetration was excellent. I missed Tuesday. My bad. You're good. Missed Friday too. No, you're good. It was a shorter episode because I had to train a client at 6, unfortunately. Didn't they have 6 to 8 pass rushes? I don't know what you're trying to say. Type that again, Chris. Y'all know why Cornhuskers roll the bills of their caps, right? No. Latif has more, so it fits the mailbox as they dig for their government subsidy check.
What is talking about?
I can't stand Pitt Snipe. I can't stand you. Latif has more yards than Gronowski does, 2 games and 1.5 innings. I think this was an A+ tweet.
1.5 innings?
Is that what I said?
That's what the comment says. Oh, 1.5 innings.
Off of it, so I thought I mistakenly said that. I was like, I was also watching the Astros. But I do think my Gronowski tweet is
he sucks.
Pretty able. He's terrible. He has worse numbers than what was that fat guy?
Their quarterback last year, McNamara?
McNamara.
Yeah, McNamara.
McNamara, yeah, the fat guy. Yeah, here it is. This was, if I do say so myself, A+ tweet. Feel free to go share with your local Iowa fans.
Gosh, they look bad too.
There we go. Gronowski hype versus Gronowski. Actually, we got Vijit Vayweather or Paloy Vayweather. I'm sorry, I'm about to get canceled, bro. I'm about to get canceled. We're gonna get canceled, guys. Shout out to India. So it fits in the. Oh yeah, I already read that. Quinn Clark is freaky, man. He is. He is a freak, dude. That is an athletic guy, dude. That is crazy. I want to see him just go up. I just want to see him go for a jump ball. Just throw it up to him next game and just give him one gun jump ball. I just want to see how high he can jump.
Did you see what Dane Key did after Quinn's touchdown?
What happened?
After Quinn Clark's touchdown, they gave the ball back to the ball boy, or the ref did. And so Dane Key went to go get the ball from the ball boy, and the ref was trying to stop him. And the ball boy tossed it around the ref, and then he gave it to Rhule, who I assume gave it to coach or to give to Quinn.
That's cool. That's what's up. That's cool. Definitely impressed by TJ. Just wow for true freshman, first college action. Who did Kenny Clark marry? Because that kid is a prodigy. Oh, look, we got Peggy in here. What's going on? Thank you so much. It means a lot, man. Appreciate you hopping in here. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Peggy's in the chat. Shout out Peggy. I really wish I had my clap button here, my cheers button. Shout out to Peggy, man. Bless you, girl. Yes, shout out to Peggy. This is what the top 10 did to their crap opponents. The least we got to do is match that. True. The top 25 this year has been bad luck because there's a lot of top 25 teams losing.
Lost to USF.
Yeah. That was
and Clemson almost lost to Troy.
Oh man, how did they win that? And Colorado played themselves into a quarterback controversy today.
Yeah, no kidding. And then what Coach Deion Sanders say after the game? He called that quarterback
Martin
Luther King or something like that.
No, he called him Martin Luther or whatever his last name is. But just because in the post game he said he was like, I just dreamt it, like, it was a dream of mine, and he kept saying that, and then so he made the little joke at the end there. I don't know, it wasn't that. It was a little weird, but like honestly, like he screwed himself by saying we're gonna start Caden Salter, but we're also going to play Juju, because then he had no choice. Caden Salter came out early in that game and looked pretty good, but then he goes and puts the third string in. Ryan Salter, is that his name? Yeah, I think it's Ryan Salter. And he goes out there and he throws, almost a pick six, but he throws, scores 21 points, I think. And one of them was like kind of like a busted coverage where they got beyond the defense. He threw it to a wide open guy. So, like, I don't think he's as good as they think, but Prime basically gave him the starting job for next week for all intents and purposes in his post game. And but I watched most of that game, and yeah, they played themselves into quarterback controversy, and that is the difference in what I was talking about year one with Rhule versus year one under Dion. Is they were building a house of cards over there. They were building to win then when in the culture of the locker room wasn't a developmental culture, and now Nebraska has that, and that was the foundation that they needed. And look at the difference. Now you have a quarterback controversy over there, and you have three. If you have two quarterbacks, you have none. If you have three quarterbacks, you don't have three. You still have none. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, doesn't matter. Nebraska went first string, killed it. Second string, 3 touchdowns. Gramstead probably could have had success in that game too. That is a culture of development right there. Guys, I'm a Buckeye fan who lives in Texas. Shout out to you, David. I was a Husker fan that lived in Texas for a long time, so I feel your pain there, buddy.
I just moved to Texas last week, David. So
yep. Honorary Texan over there. Rashawn, appreciate you hopping in here, sir. Go Big Red.
Rashawn,
shout out to
your son played phenomenal.
Shout out to Mackay, man, getting out there in some routes, making some things happen. I saw him get low and run through that guy. Oh, right around the first down marker too. So running with some energy there. So beautiful to see that. Shout out to Mackay. Appreciate it again, Rashawn. Thanks for hopping in. Everything was clean tonight. Gotta love an all around dominant win. But what was up with the penalty disparity? Yeah, it was called.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
It was weird how they called that game. Maybe they just wanted to help Akron a little bit. 1.5 quarters.
Their first penalty was in the fourth quarter.
Pit snipe. I'm joking. Therefore, yeah, that's the funniest part of it, dude. I forgot. I didn't even think about that. Oh, TFLs. I think he was talking about 9 TFLs. Yeah. Iowa's where QBs go to die. Iowa's where QBs with no talent go, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, Cade McNamara looked good at Michigan because he was throwing to 3 NFL draft picks at tight end and wide receiver and had 2 NFL running backs, and his entire offensive line was like at worst 4th or 5th round draft picks. Like,
I will not.
Yeah, you better look pretty damn good.
I will not tolerate. You know what's funny? Wait. Oh, never mind. I'm not saying that because I would have sounded dumb because I was wrong in the teams that he played for. So I'm not gonna say it out loud. I love the babies pit tonight. They're amazing. I'm gonna be an elementary teacher and I'm excited. Let's go. Shout out to you, man. That's cool, man.
Special person to be teacher.
100%, man. You got to have a level of patience that I don't have. So helping the youth. Mosey, first guy we've had in forever that simply refuses to go down. He wants to move up the chart. Excited to see how he develops. He looks like a running back. Sorry, he looks like a running back.
Yeah, he reminds me of maybe not as polished for maybe like a first year version of Amir Abdullah, in the sense where like he's not getting a ton of touches, but the touches he does get, he's making them valuable. At least obviously last week he got 1 touch, but tonight he had all of his touches were very good, and he plays with a desire, he plays with a hunger, he plays with this edge to him where even if it was going up against a linebacker, he's running through him or trying to.
Yep. This one time at band camp, the Huskers blew out Akron. Believe it or not, I have gone to band camp. Played saxophone. Leave me alone. Huskers had the ball for 20 seconds longer than Akron. Yeah, that's exactly what I brought up a little bit ago. It's crazy, man. Crazy. Good night, all. Go Big Red. Appreciate you hopping in here, man. That is remarkable, Brandon. Rock on Schlater. Is that how you said that? I'm just going to can't stand the glare off of Justin's head, bro. You know, the crazy thing is we ain't even sweating either.
That's why I'm wearing
we still got some shining going on. I can't wear hats, bro. I got little ears, dude. Look at his little ass ear. Hats look weird on me. I got a weird shaped head. I got little ears, bro. I'm just stuck with this hairline. Okay. It happens, you know. It's what it is. I got married before I lost it for a reason. Appreciate you fellas. Just the beginning. We're cooking with grease. A young player, man. The sky is the limit. And let's see. Let's talk about this one because it's involved Mackay. First time I've seen a review squad reverse the call on the field, and then moments later that was the out of bounds, right?
Yeah, that was on Mackay's like 40-yard catch and run.
Because I wanted to hurry up and get to the line, and they screwed up all the momentum there in that moment by kind of calling that, and then everybody had to walk back, and then I'm like, come on, man, we had an opportunity there to try to get Mackay in, but luckily he got in later.
That was a great play design.
Yeah.
You flash Mosley left, and then they orbit motion him to the right. Everything flows right, and then you kick back to the screen to Mackay. The blocking on that play was phenomenal, and his ability to toe that sideline for like 8 yards.
Contact
And
balance was incredible.
yeah, phenomenal play, phenomenal job by Mackay.
And I mean, it wasn't even as close as it wasn't even that close. That's why I'm surprised they blew the call. Like there was clear green between his foot and that the whole time. Like he didn't even use the whole sideline. That's the crazy thing.
They're like, oh, he went out of bounds per review. And I was like, what are you talking about? And even the announcer was like, I don't see where he touched.
Because none of those steps were remotely close. I went to band camp too. Nothing fun at all. Oh, my camera went off. There we go. We're back. Okay.
There we go.
I love you anyway, you weird-eared. I got hairy ears because I was a premature baby too. Everyone fought for every yard. This is new. Everyone fought for every rep and every play. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this game. If I had to leave with one overarching thought, is that this team battled when they were up 3, or well, they didn't get up 3. When they're up 7, it didn't matter. When they're up 12, it didn't matter. When they were up 33, it didn't matter. When they were up 68, it didn't matter. They were battling for every rep. Every rep mattered to this team. They weren't going to give an inch. And that's the difference. That's a standard of excellence. Like we're not here to win the game. We're here to win the games the way that we're supposed to. And people thought I was being negative last week when I was kind of pointing that out. Like, we need to win these games the way we're supposed to. Well, this was a step in the right direction. This was exactly what we need to do. Houston Christian carry it on the same way. Next week we kind of come out and handle business against them. Michigan kind of faltering, not looking the best. And then, this is the way this is, the rest of the schedule is playing out. Penn State did not look good today. Iowa not look good today. So yeah, it's looking up for Nebraska this year.
So one thing about Coach Rhule at Nebraska is you never see the drop off in intensity in these games. There's been a few games where we've blown a team out and the backups are coming in. Does the skill and talent drop off? Absolutely. No. But everyone is playing with that same
the energy
high level of intensity the entire time.
100%. And that's attitude that is built in the off season. We talk about, we say every year, the progress they've made in camp and all this other stuff. And I think I've been talking for the last couple of years about just how different it is and with what they're doing behind the scenes. And I think people didn't quite understand just how much each and every offseason and every single day matters in the offseason, because you get limited amount of time with these guys. So every single day you have to make sure that they're on and they have an intensity that is raised to level 10. Every day that they're in there, whether they're feeling or not, they have to go in there and they have to elevate to that level. And that is what they did tonight through every single snap and every single phase of the game. And whenever the snap went wrong, whenever they had a bad play, they immediately responded and they came back. Short memory on this team, calm and composed from the quarterback in the pocket. The schemes were flowing. The run game was flowing. The defense was absolutely insane. It's just, like I said, there are so many superlatives to be said for this game that we could sit here all night and talk about it. But overall, 68-0, beautiful performance. And it's good to be a Husker fan right now.
Yeah, there's really only like 3 things from this game, and they're not even huge things, which was lack of pass rush, red zone run game, and then red zone conversion, which we saw improve throughout the game.
Exactly. TJ Lateef is legit. Hopefully they can keep him. I don't see him going.
They're going to pay him well enough.
Yeah, buddy, they are. The only thing that was missing tonight for a perfect night, an Archie Wilson punt with the stadium erupting for him, all 86,000 of us. I know. I was trying to decide whether I wanted that punt more or 70. 70 seemed a lot more fun, but it would have been fun to have that, behind it, kudos. But how does that apply to our current team? Who we talking about? How surreal is it that we're mourning our punter's plight on the sideline? You can't make this stuff up with us as Husker fans.
He looks, and it's all punters. They look so lonely on the sidelines.
They do.
It makes me kind of sad. And they're probably like super well liked and super respected, but they're just kind of always by themselves.
Yeah. Just the loner little punters. UCF almost matched their score 68-7. Well, guess what? They didn't. So they didn't shut their opponent out. And they played. I just looked a little bit ago. Was it Appalachian State? I don't know. It looked like a team with an A on their helmet. I just saw the picture. Oh, North Carolina A&T Aggies. So North Carolina A&M Aggies. I just saw an A on a helmet on a picture of the UCF game. So I didn't actually see the actual team that they played. So I saw an A, assumed App State, but it's North Carolina A&T Aggies. Also in the second quarter, UCF missed a extra point. So not everything is beautiful over there. Let's just be honest. NCANT. Yeah, nobody knows what that is. ITT Tech. The team kind of mobbed Archie throughout the game, so he wasn't lonely tonight. Yeah, we just let him have his moments, but yeah. Shout out to Archie. Shout out to the team. Shout out to Peggy. Let's just one more time for Peggy. Big shout out to Peggy. Peggy Goodwin Evans, cancer survivor. Shout out to her, man. Appreciate David for that 20 and appreciate her hopping in here. Appreciate each and every single one of you hopping in here. Brian, before we go ahead and conclude the show here, is there anything you would like to put out about the game or anything?
Huskers by a million.
Huskers by a million. You love to hear it. All right, tune in Tuesday. We'll be here for all of the normal festivities and the Huskers live. I will be bringing the all 22 footage, and it's going to be some beautiful footage to look over. And we're going to go over just some of the concepts, stuff like that, get you geared up for Houston Christian, and then the rest of the way through the season. We're going to have some fun on Tuesday. So y'all stay tuned for that. Also, we got videos coming for y'all throughout the week. And then we have our call-in show on Friday at 5 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So that'd be 6 p.m. Central for the Tuesday one, 7 p.m. Central for the Friday episode. And I said Eastern, didn't I?
Yep.
7 p.m. for the 7 p.m. Central for the Friday episode. So y'all come see us. Oh, Husker Wrestling open. Joseph coming in at the buzzer.
Right before we get out of here, Joseph, did you know that what was his name again? I tagged you in on X.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Bo. Joseph, we need you to remind me.
Dude, I'm thinking Bo Nickel. Every time I hear Bo, just because his name's so synonymous with wrestling, that every time I hear Bo, I can't not automatically think Bo Nickel.
But that big time wrestler was visiting Nebraska tonight.
Yes.
Taking pictures with fans.
Yes. And I was trying to see if we could find any of those, but we will find some because I wanted to pull them up for a shout out to Joseph. I wanted to pull up. Yeah, Bassett. I was right. Bo Bassett. Rock on, Peggy. It will be fist bump Jobu, always on point. I was there, Bassett. Let's go. Shout out Joseph, keeping us up on Husker Wrestling. All right. Well, again, thank you all, everybody, for tuning in. That'll do it for us here. Brian, anything else before we conclude?
The next time we have a show, I will have all my stuff in my house finally.
Will Nebraska be ranked?
No. Well, I don't know. Arizona State got beat tonight by Mississippi State.
A lot of ranked teams lost, but
yeah,
it'll be tough to get in on a win over Akron.
Yeah, probably not, but they'll be close.
Flow Wrestling. Shout out Husker Wrestling. Shout out Flow Wrestling. Wrestling. Yeah, you know what it's that time. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video. Go Big Red.